come out blurry.
All right, everyone have a seat, please. And check this out. All right, so you should have your object selected. We're going to go Command C to copy and then bring it over here to Command V to paste it. Okay, so here's one. And then this one, Command C to copy and then Command V to paste it. And it comes over here. We're going to go back in history a little bit. I want you to see that I went and did the eraser tool. Let's look. Oh, I'll actually just do it again. I'm going to take these away. I didn't really copy them. I'm going to copy them and paste them over here. Okay. All right. So now we have these two balls that we need to work with. Okay. One, you can take the opacity and bring it down. So then you can hover over and you can match up, like I'll match up the 8 right there. And then if I bring the opacity back up, so I'm just clicking right here where it says opacity on this little arrow. Then I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to, again, hold the space bar down and look right here. Okay, so I can see the reflection of my hand when I was holding the 8 ball, right? So I need to fix that. So going back to tools that we've already learned from before, I'm going to use the stamp tool. So I'm going to hold the Alt and I'm going to click and I'm going to start stamping the reflection out. And what I'm doing is I'm using this part right here. That's the, if I take that off, that's the background of the other 8 ball. And I'm using that and I'm going to stamp just as a reference. So I'm basically like staying within the lines. I can go a little bigger. I'm going to make my brush size a little bigger. Again, holding the Alt. And remember, you want to always like try to attack it from different ways. For this one, I always tell you to put your hardness down at 0, right? So it blends in better. But for this one, I'm just going to put it at 100 for a second. I'm going to hold the Alt and I'm going to come right here because I don't want it to bleed out into this area. So I'm going to go like this. I'm going to hit it. And then if I zoomed in, you probably can't really see it, but I can. You can see that like actual circle. So then I'll go back to my stamp and I'm going to bring the hardness down and then I can like stamp around it. But that way it gives me that hard line right there. All right, so I'm holding the space bar, I'm looking around, saying, okay, there's a little something going on right here. Just kind of checking out right there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna duplicate these 2 layers because I want to have a backup. So what I just did is I have this layer selected and I'm gonna hold the Shift to select both of these layers. So you see how they're both gray? Then I'm gonna click and I'm gonna drag them down. So I have them backed up here. I'm going to take the eye off because these, again, are just for backup if I make a mistake. I'm going to merge these 2 layers together by doing Command E. So now they're one. Okay, if I want to unstick them from together, I can't. I'd have to go back to my backup. Okay, so once you do that, they're together. All right, so I'm going to come over here. I see that there's a little bit of one of the other balls popping through. So I'm actually going to go to my quick selection. So this is the quick selection. And instead of just erasing it, there are 2 ways. I could have just erased it, but I'm going to show you this way because if you make a mistake, it's easier to fix it by using the quick selection. So I'm on the quick selection. I'm going to go to my brush. And basically what happens is if you're working in this square, not this square, you can erase things. But by working in here, you flip the colors and they can come back. So you can do a lot of things and then be like, oh, I really wish that I had this part to come back. You can flip the color and bring it back. All right, so I'm going to be on black. Again, it's a brush tool, so it works just the same. I want this to be a hard edge. So I'm bouncing back and forth between my hardness being at 0 and at 100%. Holding the space bar. Sometimes you might have to zoom out just to see exactly what you're looking at. So this, I just want to, and if you look close enough, you can, this is actually the light. Do you guys see that? That's the studio light. This is the person right here inside the ball, and there's their shoe. All right, so I'm gonna maybe make my brush size a little bigger here. And I'm just gonna like fade it like that. Right here is a little choppy. I might try to go around depending on. All right, now I need to make a shadow. So what I'm gonna do is I wanna select this 8 ball, and I'm gonna show you a quick way of selecting it. So if you hold down the command and you go inside, you have to be in this side, this checkered square. You hold the command down and see what happens. See how it's got that little square? And then if I click with my mouse, it selects it just like that. So it's another way of selecting something really quickly, okay? Now I need to make a new layer. This right here to the left of your trash can is a new layer. Click on that. I am going to fill this shape in with black. So we're gonna learn the paint bucket tool. You just click on the paint bucket, make sure you're on your new blank layer, and you click. Completely turns that shape black. Then I'm gonna go Command D to deselect it. I am going to take my move tool. I'm going to take this shadow off from last class. I will move this one down. The light is coming from this way, right? How we can tell is it's lighter on this side, darker on this side. So we know that our shadow is going to be down here a little bit. And your shadow doesn't have to fit on the screen. It can fall off, right? So it really visualizing, I would say like right here. Then all we're going to do is we're just going to take our opacity and we're going to drop it down to what we think looks realistic. And I'm going to say I usually go about 10%. But again, there's no right answer. Then I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to take my eraser tool this time. And I'm going to make sure my hardness is down at 0. And I'm going to go around the edge like this, just to soften that up a little bit and make it fade into the background. So I know it might be a little bit hard to see, but I'm going to go like this, and then I'm going to go in my history, and I want you to look right here, okay? So you see that hard edge, and then you see how it looks right there? That looks more realistic. So we're trying to make it look more realistic, so we're just kind of brushing around the edge with the eraser tool and making sure that our hardness is down at 0. And then there is your floating object with your shadow. Okay?